Okay, continuing on in Derekh Hashem, we're in Perek Sheni in the first section of the book. It says, "B'tachlit habiri'ah," the purpose of the creation. This is probably one of the most common answers that mankind has asked in the history of man. Why? The why. Why did God create the world? Once when a person believes that God created the world, then of course the next question is why. When a person figures out why God created the world, then the person can figure out, well, what their purpose is. And that's really the necessary thing. So it says over here, Hine hatachlit babiriyah, the purpose of the creation, haya lehetiv mituvo yitbarach shemo lezulato. The purpose of the creation of the world was to bestow his goodness, blessed be his name, on others. Which means, since Hashem had a will to give to others, there had to be others. Right. Now we understand. Now he's going to go into more detail. Let's look and see. Ki hu levado yitbarach shemo hashlemut ha'amiti ha'mesholal mikol ha'chesronot. That only God himself, blessed be his name, is the true perfection that is basically has no blemish, has no default, which means it's perfection without anything missing, which is sort of the same way. It's the positive and the negative, right? Something that's perfect has nothing missing. Something that's nothing missing is perfect. But he's trying to catch both sides of that. The en shlemut acher kamohu klal. And there is no perfection that compares to the perfection of God. Obviously, there are things that we could say is perfect. You could say that has a diamond and it's perfect. It's a perfect diamond. Of course, if you look into it in more detail, you see every diamond has flaws, correct? But on the outside, it looks like it's perfect. So we have things in this world that we look and we think are shalem, are complete, are full. A man is born, he has all his limbs, he has got 2 arms, everything's working in order. So he's complete, correct? No. Because compared to the completion of Hashem, there's no comparison. Any shlemut, any perfection, or completion, same thing. Completion, shlemut is the same thing. That's not his perfection, that's not his completion. This is not a true perfection. He is what we call absolute perfection. Remember, there was an exercise in mathematics when you were younger. It was like easy, What's the absolute value of 2? 2. What's the absolute value of -2? 2. So absolute means everything else is the side. So what is the absolute perfection? That is only God. We are not absolutely perfect. We may be perfect, we're not, but we may be complete, but we're not absolutely complete. Ela yikaresh lemu. It's called shalem. We call it shalem. Be'erech el inyan haser mimenu. Vis-a-vis something that is less shalem. So when we say a person is complete, that's vis-a-vis, God forbid, a person who's born who doesn't have an arm or who's missing an eye. So this person is more complete than the other person physically because he has all his limbs as opposed to the other person that doesn't. So when we say about our shlemut, it's vis-a-vis something that is less complete or incomplete. But absolute perfection, absolute completion is only him. Yes.
So does that mean the only way you can get to real perfection, closer even, is only not physically, it's only like in a spiritual, I guess, way, in a characteristic way?
First of all, there's only one perfection, and that is God. Right. No way any human being or any angel, there's no way for perfection. Only God is complete perfection. But how can a person approach complete perfection? By getting close to God, by emulating God, right, by getting to know Hashem, by talking to Him, by doing mitzvot. The 5 things that the Ramchal brings from the Pasuk in Devarim, as it says in Mesilat Yesharim in the introduction, Huma Moshe Rabbeinu Alav Shalom Milamedenu, and this is what Moshe Rabbeinu teaches us, Be'omro in Devarim chapter 10 verse number 12, Ve'ata Yisra ma Hashem Elokecha shoel meimach. And now Israel, what is it that Hashem your God is asking from you? Ki im leyira'at Hashem Elokecha, but only to fear the Lord your God, la'alecha b'chol derachav, to go in all of his ways, ula'ahavato, and to love him, v'la'avod et Hashem Elokecha, and to worship you, the Lord your God, b'chol avadecha v'chol nafshecha, with all of your hearts and with all of your soul, lishmor et mitzvot Hashem be'et chukotav, to follow the mitzvot of Hashem and his laws. Kan klal kol chelkei shlemut ha'avodah hanitzid lishmo yitbarach. And in this pasuk is included all of the completion of the worship that is required of a Jew. Vehem hayirah, fear, hahalicha b'drachav, emulating him, ha'ahava, loving him, shlemut halev, completion or perfection of the heart, ushmirat kol mitzvot, and following all of the mitzvot. By a person doing those 5 things, this is how we approach perfection. Now he's going to define what he said before. He said the goal of the creation was to what? To bestow goodness on others. Lehetiv lezulato. He gave the hint already in the beginning. He said lehetiv mituvo, from his goodness, correct? But now he's going to define what he means by that in more detail. Which means the goal of the creation of the world was that God should bestow goodness on others. Lo yaspik lo biyoto metiv k'tzat tov. And when God does something, he doesn't do it half. God does it all the way. So it would not be sufficient for Hashem to basically give goodness that's partial goodness. He wants to give complete goodness or absolute goodness. But he can only give the maximum amount of good that the person can receive. Which means to give goodness, you require a giver and you require a recipient. The recipient might only be able to accept 80%. Then giving that recipient 80% is giving him the maximum amount that they can tolerate. Of course, the goal then becomes to be a better recipient. What a person there is trying to say, I want to be a better recipient. And once I'm a better recipient, then I can receive more of the goodness of Hashem. And here's another issue. So he wants to give the absolute good. And since the only absolute goodness in the world is Hashem himself, lo yistapek chefso hatov ela biyoto mehanel uzulato batova hu atzmo shehu bo yitbarach shemo. Which means it would basically be insufficient for Hashem to give anything else other than himself to the other one. Mitzad atzmo, from his own essence. Shehu hatov hashalem ha'amiti. So now we see, he just built up the fact that God had a desire to give a creature, he didn't say man yet, he didn't even get to man yet. He gave another creature from his goodness. He wanted to make sure that that creature was able to receive that goodness, and the ultimate goodness that that creature should be receiving is Hashem himself. V'nei mitzad ha'her, from another way, looking at another way. Hatov hazeh I efshar shimatzeh elabo. That goodness can only be found in him, which means absolute goodness can only be found in him. Al ken gazra chokhmato shemitziyut ha'hatava ha'mitit hazot yeh b'ma shiten makom laberim l'sheyit dabeku bo yitbarach shemo. So how does a person achieve this ultimate goodness? By attaching themselves to him. Be'oto ha'shi'ur she'efshar lehem shitbaku. Which means with this specific amount that the person, the maximum that the person can attach themselves to God. This is the whole concept that we see in the Torah. When you see someone is approaching Hashem and then they're afraid they're going to die. Like this, Manoach, his wife had a vision. And what happened? He's afraid that as soon as he saw the angel that he was going to die. So we see there's a concept because they're afraid that they will not be able to receive all of the goodness. And through not receiving, being able to receive the goodness, they will die. Yes, or fall.
So how is it that some rabbis were able, their neshama, were able to leave their body and go to Shamayim and learn and come back down? And they didn't die.
Okay, we don't have to go to some rabbis. We have 2 contrasts in the Torah. We have Nadav and Avihu, and we have Moshe Rabbeinu. What's the difference between Nadav and Avihu and Moshe Rabbeinu?
One died, one didn't.
Two died, one didn't. Well, he died sooner or later, but Moshe Rabbeinu was able to go all the time. What's the difference? So I said this in my shiur a couple of months ago. Why did Nadav and Avihu die? It says, Esh Zara Shelo Tziva Otam. The Or HaChaim commenting on Vayikra, chapter 10, verse number 2 says, Vayamutu lifnei Hashem, Ulai shiremos ta'am mitatam. This is hinting to the reason why they died. Shehu la'afhid li'ira min ha'mishkan birotam et elu shekiribu lefanav metu. And it's to instill fear in the hearts of the people in front of the Mishkan when they see two individuals who came close to Hashem and they died. And also it's hinted to the fact that their death happened because of something that was done before. Al Derekh ma'amaram zichronon bevachal, like the rabbis teach us in Vayikra Rabbah, Perek Yud Gimel, shemitatam haya lemash shekadam. And their death happened because shekadam, what happened before. Vayehezu et Elohim, vayochelu vayishtu. Hem atzilei b'nai Yisrael, that they ate and they drank. As it says in Shmot, chapter 24, verse number 11, Vel atzilei b'nai Yisrael lo shalach yado. And to the leaders of the Israelites he did not raise his hand, which is a connotation for punishment. Vayehezu et Elohim, vayochelu vayishtu. And they had a vision of Hashem, their vision of God, and they ate and they drank. So we see that the sin of Nadav and Avihu was not really here. Where did Nadav and Avihu sin? They sinned by Har Sinai. Vayochelu vayishtu. They had a vision. They had an appearance of Hashem, of God, and they ate and they drank. So, according to the simple meaning, here you are having a gilui shechina, and you're worrying about having yourself a bagel with lox and cream cheese. You're attaching yourself to the great being called God. At the same time, you have to get yourself a piece of lox. So that's a simple answer. The simple answer is what? That really they were not having a proper reverence. It was irreverent. It was not proper respect to be eating and drinking while they're communicating with God. But we also see by Moshe Rabbeinu, what does the Torah over and over and over say? As it says in Devarim, chapter 9, verse number 9, and in other places, Ba'aloti hahara lakahat luchot ha'avanim luchot ha'berit. When I went up on the mountain to take the luchot made of stone, the luchot of the covenant, asher karat Hashem imachem, that Hashem made with you, va'eshev bahar arba'im yom va'arba'im laila. I was on the mountain for 40 days and 40 nights. Lechem lo achalti u'mayim lo shatiti. Bread I didn't eat and water I didn't drink. Now, of course, it means the pshat, he didn't eat drink. That is the sin of Nadav and Avihu. That's why they died. Because vayochezu, they had a vision, and they benefited personally. Achila and shtiyah is what does a person eat and drink, so they can be benefiting themselves physically. Here, they wanted to benefit themselves. That a person loses his insurance policy and they die. Moshe Rabbeinu, what made Moshe Rabbeinu unique is v'nach numa. Moshe Rabbeinu is anav mikol ha'adam asher pnei ha'adama. Moshe Rabbeinu is the most anav that ever lived, which means he's on the adama. Why is the Korach went under the ground? Because he said about Moshe Rabbeinu, lama titnaseu, why are you rising yourself up? Oh, so you're saying Moshe Rabbeinu is above you? Okay, well that means there's only one place that you can be, under the ground. Because Moshe was anav mikol adam asher pnei ha'adama, he had no self-interest. And since he had no self-interest, he was able to go and have visions of Hashem and not get physically damaged and not die. Meaning, lechem lo achalti u'mayim lo shatiti. Nadav and Avihu, on the other hand, they ate and they drank. And what did that do? That caused them to die. Okay? So the way a person has an insurance policy when they get close to Hashem, not to get your wish, which is to get even closer, which means to leave the world, is, of course, to do what? To make sure that you're not in there for self-interest. Self-interest, very, very bad. So this goodness that we're referring to here can only be found within Hashem himself. So that he gave So that therefore, what should be the ultimate good? That they attach themselves, that the creatures, that the creations are able to attach themselves to Hashem. With the specific amount that they have the ability to attach themselves. Therefore, even though created things cannot emulate God's perfection in their own right, they can't on their own do it. Why? But when they attach themselves to Him, yagia lehem, that perfection will come to them. With the specific amount that they can receive. The amount that they're able to attach themselves to Him. And we see that therefore they will get pleasure and benefit out of that specific goodness, the true goodness, in the amount that they can, which means that God gives a person as much as they can receive, as much as they're willing to receive sometimes. And therefore we see, since the purpose of the creation that He created, was to create a being that could benefit from His goodness, in the specific manner that they can benefit it from. This is bet. But His wisdom declared. Why does He continue to use the word chokhmato? First pasuk of the Torah. Bereshit bara Elohim et hashamayim et haaretz. What is Bereshit? Bereshit. There's a problem in Hebrew. Bereshit should be describing something come of it. Bereshit habriya bara Elohim et hashamayim et haaretz, it should say. But it doesn't say that. Bereshit is like a noun, but it's not a noun generally in Hebrew. Barishona would be a more appropriate word to use. Why does the Torah say Bereshit? There's many, many reasons. We have another pasuk. Reshit chokhma yirat Hashem. So when you see the word Reshit, what do you think right away? Chokhma. So Bereshit is what? Be-chokhma. As it says in the Targum Yerushalmi on Bereshit chapter 1 verse number 1, Bereshit, Bechuchma Bera Hashem. In wisdom, Bechuchma, the Lord created. With Chokhmah. And for the Mekubalim, see, in here, he's really giving a lot of, he's not giving Kabbalah here, he's just talking, at face value. But underneath here, this is all, if a person understands. So what does it mean, Chokhmah? Chokhmah is the second Sfirah. There's the Keter, and then there's the Chokhmah. The Keter is the will of Hashem. That is before the bet. That's before the bet. He already said there was the will Hashem had to create the world. That's the Keter. Now everything else comes from Chokhmato. There's the will, and then there's the Chokhmah. And that's why he keeps saying Chokhmah Elyonah. Chokhmah. Gazra Chokhmato. Why? Because it's Sfirah of Chokhmah. Ve'ulam Gazra Chokhmato, but his wisdom was gozer, decreed, Sheliyot HaTov Shalem, that in order for this goodness to be perfect, Ra'ui Sheyeh Hanenebo, the person who gets benefit from the goodness, Ba'al HaTov Hahu. What is Ba'al HaTov Hahu? The owner of that Tov. What makes you own something? When you work for it. Perush. A person who's able to acquire this goodness himself. But it doesn't just come to him. If it just comes to you, you don't appreciate it. How does human beings are designed? And this is how God designed us. He designed us that we appreciate things that we work for. You just graduated high school, right? Why is that something to be proud of? Because it required a tremendous amount of work. It requires years of study. Therefore, it's something to be honored. Why? Because you worked for it. If you just got the degree after 4 years of playing video games, That's not, what's so special about that? Again, if you're the best video game player in the world, you can make money on YouTube that way, I don't know. But the bottom line is this, the person has to work, has to have yigia. He's going to talk about that now. And this is also a way that we emulate Hashem. This is all part of the concept of B'Tselem Elokim Nivra Oto. What does it mean that he created man in God's image? God is the Baal of his Tov. Therefore, he wants man to be the Baal of his Tov. And this is how we emulate him. When we work for that relationship with God, we are like him because we're the Baal HaTov. Bashiur she'efshar, in the amount that is possible. El shlemuto yitbarach shemo, the most amount that a person can achieve. Ki hinehu yitbarach shemo shalem be'atzmo. We know Hashem is perfect by himself. V'lo b'mikre, and it didn't happen that way. He's perfect. How is he perfect? He's perfect on his own, which means it didn't just happen that way. It's his essence is that way. Because of who he is, who Hashem is, this is imperative that he has this perfection. And all of the chesronot are removed from him. That's part of his nature. He has no imperfection. What he's also telling you is, how does a person achieve tov? By attaching himself to God and by removing imperfection. Le'ovda ul-shomra. That's what it says in the Gan Eden. Le'ovda mitzvot aseh. Le'shomra avoiding mitzvot lo ta'aseh. Which means when a person does mitzvot aseh, he's mitdabek in Hashem. When a person avoids lo ta'aseh, he's meshulal ha'chesronot. He's removing blemishes. ואולם זה אי אפשר שימצא בזולתו, שיהיה אמיתותו מכרחת לו השלמות המעדרת ממנו החסרונות. But only Hashem can be this being that intrinsically is perfect and removes all the blemishes. We are not intrinsically perfect. Ach litdamot lazeh b'mitzat, but we want to be like it a little bit. So since we want to be like it a little bit, צריך שלפחות יהיה הוא הקונה השלמות שאין אמיתת עניינו מכרח לו. That you have to acquire, the word koneh is acquire. You have to acquire the perfection, which means this relationship with God. You have to work on it. And it's not imperative, which means it's not natural. The natural thing for man is to not wants to do what I want to do. I don't want to do what God wants me to do. I do what I want to do. Which means to work on that relationship requires work. And he himself removes the chesronot, the blemishes, that prevent him from connecting to Hashem. Now, based on that, when God created the world, he willed to create a situation where there's ways to achieve perfection, and there's ways to achieve imperfection. You know where he's going now? Why is there Ra? Now he's going to tell you that. And he wanted to create a being, his will was to create a being that had the ability to go in either direction equally. The path of Tov or the path of Ra. Even Shaveh. This is not the way it is now. After the sin of Adam Arishon, now, ki yetzer lev ha'adam rak ra' min ne'orav, which means it's more weighted on the bad side than on the good side. Right. Not the other way. Beforehand, it was 50-50. V'yutnu lebriya emtza'im she'al yadam tikneh la'atzma tashlemu v'ta'adim mimenu et ha'chesronot. That were given to the creature would be other means that by way he can acquire for himself the shleimut, the perfection, and he can remove from himself the imperfection. And this way he's more similar to his creator, because similarly, even though the creator in his intrinsic nature, perfection is there and imperfections are not there, This requires work on the part of man, but he can achieve that similar level. And this allows him to be worthy to attach himself to God and to benefit from his goodness. Baruch Adonai Olam, amen ve'amen.